Welcome back to the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast. Every week I want to bring you a little mini episode where I share something that's been on my mind, something that's really present for me. I love having guests, but sometimes I find that I have these quirky, fascinating ideas that I want to share. Let's dive in. My husband works in an industrial park, and that would be a place where there's like a lot of industrial buildings where a lot of people work, and there's like manufacturing plants, and I don't know, one of them's a dog food facility, one of them's like a plant where they process sewage, and there's all sorts of other plants. He actually works for a car company, but in this industrial park where there's all sorts of office buildings, on the way into the industrial park, there's actually the most beautiful like series of ponds as you drive in. There's a road that leads into the industrial park that is surrounded by these tall trees. And on either side, there are like rivers on each side that leads to this big, beautiful pond. And it's actually really stunning. And it's a little bit ironic that there is so much nature and so much beauty surrounding this very corporate America industrial park where people go to slave away and work, and they probably all hate their jobs. And I've talked to people who worked in different kinds of, buildings and offices in those places, and that has been the general consensus that they didn't love what they did there, but they love the beauty of this area. And we've taken a lot of family photos here because it's really stunning. And then we've got the gorgeous snow-capped mountains that overlook it, but there are ducks and geese that take this place as their home. There's all sorts of greenery. There's these beautiful evergreen trees, and just it's really stunning to just go be there. It's really peaceful. There's some other kind of wildlife too. Like there's these water rats that run around, and they're really funny to watch when you get a glimpse of them, but they're kind of sneaky, so you don't always get to see them. But what has been the most incredible were the pelicans. And you're like, what? Pelicans? Don't you live in Utah, Carolee? What the heck are pelicans doing in the middle of this random pond in the desert in Utah? And they showed up last year, probably around the same time, and then they disappeared for a while, and then they came back. And it's already this glorious place. It's already this peaceful, tranquil location in the middle of an industrial park. It's really ironic. It's really set aside from the rest of the world. And then you add in the pelicans. And I've been really pondering on the elegance of these pelicans because, frankly, I grew up in California where pelicans on the shoreline were not considered elegant or beautiful or anything of the sort. Their pelicans were they're almost trashy when you're in California. They steal people's food. When you live on the beach or near the beach and you see pelicans, you've watched Finding Nemo, right? The pelicans, they might be helpful, but they're big and awkward, and they're just not the big, beautiful, elegant creatures that I'm seeing in front of my eyes right now as I look at this scene that is set before me. When I see them in this environment, they are absolutely stunning. They are awe-inspiring. They are just so glorious. It stops my heart to just, and I want to stare at them all day long. They float on the water, and I finally realized kind of what it was that was so inspiring about this site, and it was that they look like swans. When they're off in the distance, 50, 100 yards away, like they're clear enough to make out what they are, but they're not really in your face. They are from a distance these elegant beings that really appear swan-like. They are coming in groups of 3 or 4, or even when they're just off on their own, they are big and white on the blue water in this serene setting with the greenery and the rocks and the mountains in the background. And they seem almost out of place in this setting. Like, it's just really something to behold. And yes, they have their big, huge orange beaks, but their awkwardness is hardly noticeable. What you really perceive is their beauty. And so what I really want to point out here is it's the setting that you put the pelicans in that makes all the difference. And the same is true for us. I feel like an elegant pelican myself so much of the time, and it depends on the setting that I put myself in, on whether I'm appearing as a swan, whether I'm showing up as elegant and as, this inspirational entity, or if I'm showing up as big and awkward and you're just not out of place and not, it really just depends on the setting that I'm in, on how I'm appearing. And, relate this to yourself, please, because that is the whole point here that I'm trying to make. When we are around people that lift us up, when we are around, positive, energetic, loving human beings, and they see us in the way that I was describing those pelicans, when they see the best in us, those are the people we want to be around. Those are the people that we should be surrounding ourselves with. Those are the people that you should be choosing to follow on social media. That should be the content that you fill your life with. Those are the books that you should be reading. Those are the accounts you should be looking at, their content of, the content that makes you feel like you are elegant and inspirational, that you are raising the vibe of those around you. Like you glide seamlessly across the water of every environment that you're in, rather than people who make you feel like a big awkward, lunk that doesn't fit. Like you are taking up too much space. Like you are getting in the way. Like the way that I see pelicans in that ocean setting off in California, where it's like, ugh, you guys, I don't like you in this setting. You don't fit here. You don't belong here. You're taking away from my gorgeous ocean view. You're stealing people's food. Like the pelicans, like in Finding Nemo, where it's like, ugh, get out of here, They feel awkward. They're not swan-like. They're in the way. When you compare pelicans to swans, they feel so awkward and large and annoying. But when you just see pelicans gliding on the water by themselves, you get to see their beauty. I wish we could just see that beauty everywhere. We need to surround ourselves with people who see that in us. And we need to make a greater effort to see that beauty in ourselves. Like, first and foremost, if you ever expect to be surrounded by people in your life who see that in you, you first have to start seeing it in yourself. And you might need some help, of course. That's why, podcasts like this exist and, amazing mentors exist, because sometimes you need people to help you rise to the greatest version of yourself. You need people who are telling you that you are incredible as you are, that you deserve to be all of you, and that all of you is not just good enough, but incredible, so worthy, so amazing, just as you are. Like, you need people like that who are around you, who will cheer you on and tell you that your dreams are gonna happen and they are worth dreaming, and that future that is in your mind, that vision that you're holding for yourself, keep holding it. It's coming. It's on the way, and you deserve every single bit of it. Those are the people you need to surround yourself with. The ones that lift you up. The ones that see you as a swan-like entity in a pond, not like a pelican. I was listening, because I was just at this podcast summit with Kathy Heller, and she was talking about how her favorite restaurant is in Bel Air. I think it's the Bel Air restaurant, something like that. And they have like swans at the restaurant, and how that's such a great restaurant because you get to look at the swans and they're so elegant. And swans are beautiful. They really are. I love swans. But I'm feeling so inspired by this idea of the elegant pelican, because I feel like an awkward pelican, that if it takes somebody who's choosing to see the beauty in me in order for that to actually come across. And maybe you can relate to that message, where it's like, it depends on who's looking and what lens they're looking through, if you actually are going to find the beauty. Because if you wanted to see the awkwardness, if you wanted to see the version of me that's taking up too much space, that feels like she doesn't belong, that really feels like she's just too much, that pelican version of me really exists. That's the version of me that has been going on since childhood. That's the multi-passionate version of me that has been told for so long that she shouldn't be that way, and that I needed to pick one thing. And now I'm looking at this pelican floating across this little pond going, oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. And that's me. And that's you too. So that's my message for today, is that you are an elegant pelican. And it's time to own all of you. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Multi-Passionate Mama podcast. I know that we can never be told too many times how amazing we are, so in case you haven't been told today, you are a freaking rock star. When you let yourself shine, you allow other people to take off their filters and shine brightly too. It's about time someone gave you permission to be all of you. If you enjoyed this show, please leave me a review and hit that subscribe button. I know you want more of this. Sharing is caring. Let someone you love know how incredible they are by texting them the link to this episode. They'll feel so good just knowing that you thought about them. And lastly, if you want to know more about my courses and coaching, be sure to check out my website for up-to-date details on everything I have available. It's caroleegarrison.com, and the link is in the show notes. Always remember that you are a diamond. Don't let anyone dim your sparkle.